He's asking you?
Last time they put three 20-point scores on the team, they said it was unfair, which is the team I was on. Yeah. They got 4 25-point scores on this team. So, hell yeah, I think they're going to be a contender, man. They're going to be a great team to watch.
Does Kevin Durant have a point?
No, he does not. That's ridiculous. But I'm going to say it respectfully because he had a smile on his face. Probably was joking around a little bit, but we know he's forgotten more basketball than most people know, and he's a future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest players the NBA has ever seen. Here's why Kevin Durant's, assuming he was serious about that makes absolutely no sense. Kevin Durant was up 3-1 playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They lost a 3-1 lead and lost that series in the Western Conference Finals to the Golden State Warriors. A 73-9 Golden State Warriors team. A month later, he signed with them. And when he signed with them, because he's one of the greatest players on the planet still, so imagine what he was then, there was no competition. We all knew it was a foregone conclusion that Kevin Durant, with the greatest shooting backcourt and the basketball savant that was Draymond Green, it was inevitable. The fairness, competition, it was just eviscerated. Nobody had a chance, okay? It was the lone season that I spent very little time, like, please, this is a waste of time because there's no competition. That's not the case here. Tyrese Maxey is phenomenal. He's not been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Joel Embiid, when healthy, is the real deal. He hasn't been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Jaylen Brown is a champion in the NBA Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, all of that stuff, and we know what LeBron James brings to the table. But I got news for you. They ain't the favorites to win the championship. Some people have them as the favorites to come out of the East. Some people have the Knicks. But nobody has them as the clear-cut favorite to win the championship because the Oklahoma City Thunder is returning. And they'll be healthy with J-Dub and A.J. Mitchell, along with Shea Butter, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and the rest of the crew. Oh, by the way, Wemby's in San Antonio, and they're expected to learn from their mishaps in the NBA Finals, okay, with Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper and what he's been able to bring to the table, and the rest of the crew that they have, plus this kid out of Connecticut that they drafted as a big body that's going to help insulate or protect Wemby to some degree. You can make a legitimate argument that right now, that the Philadelphia 76ers, in some people's eyes, are the third or the fourth best team in the NBA. Nobody said that when Kevin Durant arrived in Golden State. Universally, it was recognized across basketball borders everywhere in this world, on this globe. There is nobody that had anybody above the Golden State Warriors. Perfect example was LeBron James. LeBron James beats Boston in the conference finals. He is happy. He is smiling. They are on the court, you understand, celebrating and the whole bit. And then he was asked about going up against Golden State and immediately recoiled. And he stepped back. He's like, look, man, I just don't need that kind of stress right now. I got a few days to enjoy this. I just don't need that stress. Because he knew what was coming, okay? Everybody knew what was coming. There was no way in hell anybody was beating the Golden State Warriors that particular season. That is the difference. They were clear-cut favorites by a mile to win the championship. We don't even know if the Philadelphia 76ers are going to come out of the East.
So it's kind of, making the rounds that KD compared him going to the Warriors to what the 76ers and LeBron and them doing with Jaylen Brown, LeBron, Joel, Maxey, VJ Exum, and said they're going to be contenders. They have 5 or 4 20-plus scores a game. I disagree with that. That's my stance on it. Everybody think because you got talent, that make you a team. They got to galvanize together to become a team. But anytime KD kind of talk about that, people kind of like get backlash because they credit him with starting super teams. And then when they don't credit him with starting super teams, they blame the Boston Celtics, which like 2 of the main players, Rondo and Paul Pierce, was drafted there, and 2 other guys was traded there. So it's kind of taboo. It's kind of taboo for NBA for KD or for KD to talk about super teams because he credited with like starting them. LeBron fans don't like to spit the truth about LeBron. When the face of the league do something, that made it okay for everybody else to do it. He did it first. That's a fact. Kevin Durant just did it better. Because Kevin Durant don't need to change. Everybody don't need to change their game to play with Kevin Durant. If you need Durant to dominate the ball, he can do that. You need Durant to be one of the guys, spot up, shoot, he can do that. You need Durant to play defense, he can do that. You bring LeBron at any age to the table, everybody has to conform to LeBron. That's it. You know? But yeah, when KD say that, it just seemed to be he gets shamed and shunned for it, but he ain't lying. He ain't lying. To say LeBron keep trying to super team mate because it don't work the way they think it's gonna work on paper. Went through it in Miami, didn't work the way they thought it was gonna work. You went to in Cleveland, him, Kyrie, Kevin Love, it didn't work like you thought it was gonna work. He went to LA with a lot of young players, got rid of them, got AD, didn't work the way he's gonna work. They got that little title they got, that bullshit ass title they got. Then he got rid of AD, and then they was like, oh, Luka, him and ARE. It didn't work. It's people just they just listen to the media. No matter how many times you see something fail, they just think it's gonna work. You can turn now, I'm telling you, bro, like these people, man, where do they get their license from, brother? Where do you get your license from? A Cracker Jack box? Yeah, bro, I be wondering, where do people, they just got to give license away, bro. They got to just be like, here go a license, and I can't read the street signs. You can make that left. You can make that left. I don't understand why people in Michigan, they can't read nor can they write. You can make that left. Yes, buddy. Yes, buddy, you can make that left. And then they want to get the stiff neck at the light and shit. Bro, you sitting there, it don't say you cannot not make a left make that left. You can make a left. I hate to keep beating into people's drums. But we just get into a society where most people can't read. But, back on KD, he can't say that. It's illegal for him to say that because people are mad that KD and the Warriors did it so well because nobody need to be ball dominant. And that's why people need to kind of really start talking about Bron, because Bron is just a limited basketball player. Without the basketball, LeBron is not a great player. And that's why Dwayne Wade had to change his game. That's why Chris Bosh had to tone his game down. Kyrie had to tone his game down to a certain extent. Kevin Love had to tone his game down to a certain extent. Anthony Davis got a lot of the blame. Toned his game down. Kevin Durant, it's not Kevin Durant's fault that Durant it doesn't need the ball to be successful. Durant don't have to change everything. He can just plug in. But he's right. But at the end of the day, it's going to be going through the same ass story over and over again. And it's going to be like they're going to get mid-season. They're going to be throwing Jaylen Brown under the bus. They're going to be throwing Edgecombe under the bus. They're going to be throwing somebody under the bus. Somebody's going to be thrown under the bus. If you hated Joel Embiid selling for threes, you about to really hate this motherfucker right here. Because LeBron always make his big fella settle for jump shots. But people keep saying I'm hating, but I just want y'all to come back to these videos when I prove my point. That's all I'm going to prove my point, but Kevin Durant can't say that. They shame, oh man, if LeBron never made the jump to Miami, I don't think Kevin Durant even think about joining Golden State. That's the irony of it. And they don't want to credit LeBron James with that, but it's credited. It's not even close. it just didn't work out the way that the LeBroniacs thought it was going to work out. Even like load management, San Antonio created it, but LeBron revolutionized it. But LeBron created the best player in the league going to create a super team. He created that. They thought it out. They planned it out a couple summers ahead, and they executed it. There was a slight amendment when they took Bosh instead of Melo because of the Melo money situation. He didn't understand. But, you know, I'll continue to tell y'all, bruh. They try to act like LeBron is spotless. LeBron is the reason of a lot of things that's wrong with the NBA. It's LeBron's fault. How everybody so freaking friendly. Everybody want to click up and be friends. Ain't no rivalries no more. LeBron did the Barney let's be friends, no rivalries. While a lot of players come into the league and they can't play without the basketball, that's LeBron. I don't think that was his intent. I don't think it was intentional. That's the LeBron effect. Everybody say the Steph Curry effect. Everybody think they can shoot. But these brothers come into the league, they can't play without the ball no more. That's the LeBron effect. You know, that's why Beasley wasn't shit, because he couldn't play without the ball. In a 5-on-5 setting, 1-on-1, he was great. But it is what it is, man. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love, support. Peace.